All right, welcome to another show, the Drew Sutton Leadership Show. This is another spotlight episode where we take local business folks that have great stories to tell and we tell them to you. I hope you enjoyed on your ride into work or maybe on your ride home from work. Be inspired, have some fun, and let's get to it. Okay, today's episode is Bob Woods. Bob and I have known each other for years, back before the old COVID happened. And I was super excited that he was free and ready to get on the show. Before I keep talking about that, let me give you a quick bio. Oh, wrong one. Get ready to meet Bob Woods, a true veteran of both broadcast journalism and tech-driven sales. Starting his journey as a high school intern in Toledo, Bob worked his way up from news photographer to newscast producer before catching the tech bug that propelled him into a dynamic career in sales and marketing. Today, Bob is a partner of a top-tier coaching and consultancy firm where he's revolutionizing the way we do B2B and B2C, helping salespeople start better conversations without being salesy. He does this using LinkedIn, social selling, AI, and video. Bob's expertise is backed by a trail of accolades, including being named as one of the top 50 social sellers and an invite-only spot on LinkedIn's prestigious Top Voices program, alongside legends such as the great Gary Vee and Sir Richard Branson. A LinkedIn member since December 2003. Yes, you heard that right. Basically, when the Mayflower crossed.
Tech-wise.
Tech-wise, right. He is number 74899. Bob has been a pioneer in leveraging the platform for business growth. He's also a co-host of the globally ranked Making Sales Social podcast, delivering top-tier advice and actionable intelligence for today's sales professionals. And just when you thought it couldn't get any cooler, Bob is also an AI aficionado with a certification from Northwestern's Kellogg School of Management. Buckle up for an engaging conversation here with Bob Woods. Well, there you go, Bob. Welcome to the show, man. I'm actually flattered that you joined. You've been a bit of a mentor in mine for years, and so I'm super happy.
No worries. No worries. It's just what I believe in doing best, which is something that we're going to get into as we go along. But one of my phrases is just, stop talking about how you help people and just help people. And I mean, and that's not something that I need to drill in my head and practice and, oh God, I got to do this again. It's just the way that I'm built. So, I mean, everything that I do, everything that I teach and consult on is basically just an extension of how I feel about life, essentially.
Yeah, no, you've said this to me many times in our relationship. Stop talking about helping people and just help people. Man, what a clever marketing strategy.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that phrase wasn't mine originally. I have definitely co-opted it, and I don't even know who said it first. Otherwise, I would give credit for it. But it's just such a great way to encapsulate what people should really feel about sales. And we obviously have tips and tricks and strategies and everything that back that up. But, when you talk about having conversations that aren't salesy, it really comes down to this phrase here. Stop talking about helping people and how you help people and oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this for you, and just help people.
Just help people. That's your level up already in the show. You've already got value. We are 4 minutes in. Stop talking about helping people and just help people. As a coach myself, that's just so true. I will work with folks, and some people get a little bit nervous. They're like, what does this cost me? I'm like, honestly, I've been in the Lexington Bluegrass area for years and years. I'm going to be here for years and years. I got kids in high school. I got kids in elementary school. Why am I going to burn? No, we're just going to help you. And when it's a right fit, then it's a right fit. All right. Not to belabor that, let's go into the rapid fire question round. Now, this is maybe the most important section of the show. Are you ready? All right.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay. All right.
It's like the Q100 Morning Zoo. Join up. This is great. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Tea or coffee?
Yeah. Coffee 90% of the time.
Coffee, 90% of the time. Well, let me tell this now just a little bit here. All right, coffee. I love it. Rock or country?
Oh, rock. I shouldn't say 100% because my views on country have mellowed, especially after living here in the bluegrass for 11 years. But I'm to the point now where I can listen to country and I'm fine with country. I'll even go to country concerts. I was at Railbird this year and had a great time. I'm not at the point where I can like sit in the car and tune it to a country station and actually listen. That's like the one thing that I haven't broached yet. I'm sure I probably will someday because I can even like country. I'm just not quite there yet. Plus I listen to so many other things in the car. I'm not even sure I'd have time for it.
That's the scream. Actually, so one of my most embarrassing moments was when I discovered that I love Katy Perry. So I normally tell folks this story in context of data management and AI, like so data, the importance of true data. But Pandora was like, it suggested a Katy Perry song, and I was like, I don't like Katy Perry. And then I look back, and all of my stations, and every time there's a Katy Perry song, I give it a thumbs up. I was like, oh, maybe
that's why.
Maybe
it's the algo.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the question rounds here. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Coke. Deadpool or Wolverine?
Oh man, that's a good one. I'm gonna say Deadpool only because my sense of humor is kind of like Ryan Reynolds' sense of humor. Very, very dry, very sarcastic, outside of work. Although even, that even leaks into like when I'm when I'm doing coachings and when I'm, especially doing the podcast and things like that. So yeah.
That's all right. I love it. Do-it-yourself projects or buying a finished product?
Probably DIY if it's like household stuff, but I would like to do like car stuff, but A, they're getting way too complex, and B, I just don't have the room to do it. So that's got to be like, off the shelf, ready to go type of thing. Either that or I just take it in and just, okay, y'all handle it. And I've got trusted people here who I use for that. So yeah.
Okay. I love it. All right. Fancy street food, like taco trucks, like food trucks, or fancy restaurant? Food trucks or fancy restaurant?
Food trucks most of the time. There'll be some times when it's like, let's go fancy. But most of the time, street stuff. Love finding hole in the wall that have like really great food types of places too. So yeah, I mean, definitely along those lines.
All right. Those were the easy ones.
Uh-oh.
All right. We got a little bit more intense coming up here. Is a taco a sandwich?
Oh my Lord. Is a taco a sandwich? Jeez. I'm gonna have to go with no.
You're gonna have to go with no. All right.
I'm gonna have to go with no on that one. Just don't ask me about hot dogs as being a sandwich.
All right. Pineapple on pizza?
Oh hell no.
Oh hell no. It's just funny. You're 3 in a row so far that are no on the pineapple.
I get it, and I've had it, and it's not bad. And I do like different styles of pizza. So like white pizzas with like chicken and stuff like that. I'm good with that. I think of it more as a specialty type of thing rather than like a general ingredient like pepperoni and things like that. So so I guess if you're talking about like regular pizza, oh hell no. If somebody says, oh, I've got this really good pizza that has pineapple on it, but it's complemented by other things like sauce, blah blah blah, or whatever, then I'll do it.
Gotcha. Okay, 2 more. Should you tip in a restaurant where it's self-serve?
Oh, I hate this one. I really do. I would nowadays probably yes, although I wouldn't go above 15%. Normally when we're out, we generally tip 20, maybe even 25% depending. But when it's self-serve, it's like, yeah, you should probably do something just because of how things are nowadays. But I'm not gonna go above 15% on that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a tip with cash sort of a person, which gets harder and harder because I don't carry a lot of
It's
cash.
very hard, and
But
I'm normally like that too, but there's sometimes where it's like, "Yeah, just put it on the card."
yeah, the tip is for the waiter or waitress, not for the boss. And I know some companies,
Right.
right? They yeah. Okay. And the most controversial of them all, what color is this dress?
Oh my lord. I'm gonna have to put on my glasses, the ones that I said make me look old. Um, I'm gonna go with gold or
White
whatever.
and gold.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the way that I feel about it. Apparently, science says it's actually a blue and black dress, but I'm with you. I think it's definitely.
What? No.
Are you see? Oh, have you not seen this? Okay, we're gonna have a
This is
conversation
one
on this.
that I have not seen. No. No, and I normally keep up with, like, those, what's the one with the sound that came out several years ago?
Yanni versus something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I generally keep up with those, but this is the first time I've seen that, and there is no beep way that this is blue and black or whatever you said it was. I don't see it. Don't see it.
that's
Don't
a
see it.
scream. So
Or just
my wife would die. Like she would go to her death saying this is a blue and black dress, and I 100% think it's a white and gold dress. And
yeah.
the reason that it works is this: yours and my brain, we assume it's a white and gold dress with a blue filter on top of it, and the other people's brain reads it as a blue and black dress with a yellow filter. So like our brains superimposed uh, like a tint on top of it, and then read it back to us. Anyway, super fun. If you want to like start a marriage-ending fight, I can give you the picture. It's no problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and those people who think that it's not are, and this is going to be highly controversial, they're just wrong.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm
Yeah.
okay with that, right? I still love them in their wrongness. There's no problems. It's not
Yeah.
judgment.
Oh yeah. They could be wrong and sit in their wrongness and be wrong,
That's right.
as the old West Wing quote went.
That's the scream. Okay. Well, thank you for humoring me. That's just an opportunity to get to know you a little bit and kind of see how your brain ticks. Let's start talking about what you do. So you've been in journalism and sales, and I say those two words together because they are kind of the same.
They
Um,
are. They absolutely are. In fact, when I got into sales, I used that comparison to get my first sales job.
Yeah. Well, the moment that I realized that was, I was reading a history, I think I was reading Benjamin Franklin's biography. And of course, he had a print shop, and he was putting out he ran a, a newspaper, and he was very, very pro revolution before the revolution happened. And what I realized reading that book, I was like, holy crap, journalism has always been biased towards the editor, and it's not a judgment. I think people say that they're like, well, that's terrible. No, I mean, the editor inherently, with what he edits, what he allows, it's always political. It's always bent one way or the other. I'm not trying to cause a political fight here. I'm just saying
Right.
journalism and sales are close cousins. Now they're not the same, but they are close cousins. So how did you, well, I'll let you comment on that, and then I want to hear, how did you get started? When did you know this was a thing you wanted to do? Anyway, over to
Yeah,
you.
definitely. So, I think the journalism and sales are even closer together, especially because when you think about it, every single time in journalism that you ask for an interview, you're doing a sales job. Now, sometimes it's to the other person's benefit to appear in the article or appear in the video or in the audio or whatever. So that will be an easy sale. And
Mm,
that's close to when you come up to someone with whatever you're selling and they instantly recognize that it's something that they need and they're going to buy from you. Other times you really need to do a sales job in journalism to get them to talk to you because it may not be in their best interest. Now in sales, we always want to do what is the best interest. So that comparison kind of falls apart a little bit there, but still just in terms of, just talking to people. And when I had tougher interviews to get, I never tried to, you know, uh just try to run over people and really strong arm them. I just talk to them about, why they may want to do it, how it may benefit them. More times than not, it's like out here to do a hit job. I just want to get your side of the story on the story, I guess. So, and then that easily translates over into sales, and especially with the stop talking about how you help people and just help people. When you help people, you are demonstrating your value and the value of your product or your service and how that can help them if they hire you or buy your product and service. And then, hopefully you're helping them along the way, depending on what it is you're selling. Sometimes it's transactional, other times you're helping throughout. And there's so many different scenarios that I can't get into that. But generally speaking, you are out there to help people. And hopefully as they go through the whole know, like, and trust thing, and then as they use social selling to proactively promote themselves and talk about the types of things about how they help their specific audience in what it is that they do, they're building know, like, and trust through what we call attract, teach, and engage. So it's attracting the audience, teaching them not about necessarily what you do, but teaching them about about your helping, and then engage is getting that first sales conversation without being salesy.
No, I love that. One of the things, and I was taking a note to myself that I need to make this picture again. I always say that our job in any business is to sell value at a discount. So if this is I have some teenage boys and they just bought some Air Force One Nike shoes. Very, very, very excited about this. They're very cool now because they have the right shoes. Which is it's a funny subculture. When I was a kid, nobody cared about your shoes, and
Right.
now, like, it matters. Like for us, I think we had
Mhm.
to wear hoodies. I think that was the cool thing. Anyway, but so you have this value, right? Like the Air Force One shoes are considered to be $120, $150 shoe. If you
Mhm.
buy that shoe for $100, the value is 150. The purchase price you're paying is 100. That value at a discount, that's what we're doing. And in sales, we are helping people understand that discount. We're saying, listen, if you work with us, we can deliver you clients at a lower cost per click or cost per impression. But yeah, as sales, we're not. I think now I think there are people out there that are just manipulating people, but a good salesman, and this is your go out and help people, is we're saying
Mhm.
I can help you, and if you want my help, I want to help you. I'm not going to make you help me, but just helping people understand the value that exists out there. I like this though. You have attract, teach, and engage. So
Mhm.
you want to grab one of those real quick and talk, kind of open it up a little bit more for the.
Yeah, sure. So attract involves two things. One, you've got to be putting out content, whether that's text and graphics, whether that's specifically on LinkedIn, a poll that you're taking to take the temperature of your audience, or especially nowadays through video. Um, you need to put out content that your audience wants to and needs to consume, and what they want to consume rather than what you want to talk about. So there's a story that we tell all the time, but it's really true. We had a financial advisor as a client, and he was talking about what he wanted to talk about. The problem with that is the comments that he was getting was from other financial advisors, his competition.
Yeah.
That's because he wasn't talking about the things that his audience wanted to consume. So once he made that mind shift, he started getting comments and started getting connections and everything from his audience. I always call it an audience just because I'm an old broadcast guy. So I always think in terms of audience, but whenever you hear me say audience, you think audience of prospects, because that's your ultimate audience. You're not trying to attract everyone. And that's one of the things that we teach. You're not going to get influencer level comments and views and things like that. But you don't want that. You want your audience. And that just by definition is going to be much smaller than the Kardashians or whatever of the world
Oh
who are
yeah.
out there doing all this macro stuff. We call it micro influencers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, and I know I've done the math on my side. So I help small folks with about a 10-person team. They're like one generally 1 to 2 million, so like 1.5 million in revenue. And they're like,
Mhm.
hey, I can't get past this. Or in the corporate world, it's the same person. They're just in the corporate world.
Right.
And they are at 10-ish people and they are working 80 hours a week. And they're like, I know that my career needs a next step. How do I and they know they need to change for what I call the GSD, get stuff done, to the
Mhm.
CEO mindset, which is the
Oh,
clear vision, empower your team, and then manage your operations, CEO. So
yeah.
you want to go from GSD to CEO and being able to quickly articulate that. If I had 20 full-time clients paying the full rate, that's one client a day per month, right? I can help a full day, right? I don't need that. Like, let's say that there's a 10% conversion rate. If I had 200 solid subscribers and 10% of them convert to a customer, I
Mhm.
don't need to be a Kardashian. I need 200 ideal customers, right?
And that's where that micro influencer comes in. You need to be an audience to that, or you need to be the expert, the go-to person in what it is that you do to that very small audience. And when we say micro influencer, sometimes people are like, "Oh yeah, that just sounds funny. Ha ha ha." No, that's serious. I mean, you want to be dominant in that smaller space, but that smaller space contains the exact people that you want to have in it, your audience of prospects.
Yeah. So, I mean, so like I kind of described mine there. So, who are the folks that you help the most? And maybe you could lead with a story, maybe one of your favorite stories. But um, when folks are out there and they're saying, I need more sales, I need to connect more with my audience, who is that person? Like, who's too small? Who's too big? Who's your ideal person that you connect with and do a lot of good for?
Yeah, well, we don't do too small because we typically have, like, individuals and then sales teams and entire sales departments and things like that. So that's more on the corporate end of what we do, and we can design custom, LinkedIn and social selling programs for all of those, and that mainly involves, like, any type of B2B business as well as what we call professional B2C. So professional B2C is like bankers, mortgage people, financial
Mm.
professionals, real estate people, those people who sell the B2C, but they're regarded as professionals when they do it. In other words, the type of people who, when people think about looking them up, one of the first places they're going to go is LinkedIn because they are seen as professionals. Now,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I like what you're inferring there. We didn't really talk about that in the attract, but you're attracting people, but those people you're attracting already go somewhere. Right, like,
Yeah,
they spend
absolutely.
time
Oh,
on
yeah.
LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and you're kind of describing a group of folks that is a high trust,
Yeah, high
network, right?
trust.
Because high
Yeah,
trust
high
means
trust.
long sales cycles, it means very sensitive sales cycles, like, they don't want you're not getting people to come and be your financial advisor or clients, through a webinar in which you're giving them generic content, like, it's high touch, high trust, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you have to master, and I think this is one of the cool things as you've kind of added a couple of things in my life specifically. Um, you you have to have those one-on-one skills. Well, it used to be one-on-one skills, right? But now I have to master a one-on-one skill that's actually one to many. Like it's not
Yeah.
broadcasting, it's not meeting with people for coffee. There's this skill that you need people to feel like you're meeting for coffee, but you need to be able to do that at some reasonable scale. If
Yep.
eh,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly, but, you always have to, when you're in that one, let's call it one to few for lack of a better phrase.
Ooh, I like one to
When
few.
you're Yeah, when you're in that one to few, stage, you still need to be thinking about, attracting this person enough to where they want to talk to you. So, I mean, everything that you are doing is leading up to that initial conversation. Sometimes I slip and I say sales conversations. It really even shouldn't be a sales conversation at that point. It should be more along the lines of, "Hey, how you doing? um let's talk. What have you been doing with LinkedIn? Has it been working?" They'll hopefully share with you, and then it's like, "Hey, can I share a story with you about someone that we've helped?" and then we go into that, and then at that point, it's like, and I'm like way simplifying this, but at that point, we're like essentially, you know, what do you think about, and just asking to take things to the next step.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we actually do have that sales cycle as well, but, you're never trying to be salesy. That's always the biggest thing, and hopefully the client agrees, or the prospect, I should say, agrees with that as well, because if you have a client or a prospect coming in and they're the old-fashioned, "Hey, we're gonna cold call, we're gonna be the finger snappers," or whatever, we ain't ever gonna get that type of prospect in for a client, and quite frankly, we don't want that person in who are like so ingrained in that mentality that they're not gonna make that shift. And you can still cold call, and people, and this is a point that I always like to make, people still cold call. People can still be very successful at cold calling. We're not trashing cold calling at all. It's just that a lot of people don't like to do it. They want another way to get people. This is a great way to do that.
Yeah, I think that's another great, bonus idea there, that cold calling is not the only, and, cold calling is one thing, but the inference of cold calling is that sales is a numbers game, and
Yep,
you just need to, if you turn that statement up enough, the people fall out, and you're just cold calling. You're finding that 1% that's ready to buy today. So I just need to get 100 people on the phone. I just need to funnel through people. And that works for car insurance, right? I'm obviously poking at the
yeah, yes.
market,
I've been
but
trying to reach you about your car warranty.
but if you're trying to build a relationship, if somebody's going to trust you with their net worth, whether that's a lawyer or a CPA
Yep,
or a financial advisor, you got to build those nuggets. And the other thing is you have to have enough value that giving it away for free. I'm not a one trick pony, right? Like I can give it away for free because I have a bag of tricks. I have days of tricks back.
yep,
We can do a
yep.
whole year of show.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, exactly. And just because, and for the people who are like, "Oh my god, I can't give away stuff for free because what am I gonna sell?" So, I mean, generally
yeah,
speaking, the stuff that you're giving away for free is probably gonna be general knowledge, at least when you're in that attract part, when you're putting out the content, because you can't speak to specific situations. I mean, you can give examples, and you should give examples of how you've helped clients and things like that. So, you can give examples of that, but to really nail down a person's situation and why they might want to contact you, that's going to take that conversation. The One of the big things about the attract stage is just what you said, showing your expertise, showing that you're not a one trick pony, showing that you can help different subtypes of people within whatever niche or whatever vertical or whatever that you're in, essentially.
I have a good friend. His name is Jake Brown. He's been my coach for a little bit now. He said, never do open heart surgery in the waiting room. And the idea is, um, maybe I can, like, the temptation, you meet somebody, you're like, I can solve your problem. Well, first of all, you may be able to solve their actual problem. Do they know that that's the problem? Like they want this over here, and you're like, oh well, So there's that kind of mis alignment of expectations problem. But the other problem is, sure, I can solve it, but the solution that I'm going to give you is going to require you to kind of maintain it for the next bit.
Yeah.
So while I can solve it for you, you're going to need my help, kind of physical therapy style. For There's the initial operation and there's the physical therapy on the backside of it.
Yep.
And it's been excuse me, I gotta there we go. It's been difficult for me as an engineer to hold back and give help, like legitimately, hey, let me help you, but also know if I try to help them too much at the wrong stage of the relationship, they'll get down that path and then they'll get frustrated because they'll need the
Mhm.
next stage. So while
Yep.
giving help, just and this is, I guess, the folks that are like, but if I give away all my expertise, well, sometimes you hold a little bit of it back, not because you're being cruel, but because you know that there's, there's an ecosystem of skill sets, and I can give you one, but you really need the other four to make it work. Don't do so. From Jake, it's don't do heart surgery in the waiting room. Um,
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Probably a phrase that, that we use a lot. Oh god. Let's just go on because I had it in my mind and then
Oh,
all of
that's
a
right.
sudden it went
No,
away.
excellent.
We've got so many kind of key phrases and, like, key little sayings that we use, and sometimes it gets kinda jumbled up in my mind. I should probably put all these on a Post-it or something like that around my monitor.
Yeah, no worries. Let's do that. Let's go on. I would actually you referenced this a couple of times. And so I just wanted to ask you very pointedly here. Give
Sure.
me your top like in your mind when you go to sleep at night, you say to yourself, this is why I'm in this business, right? Give me your favorite success story. And you don't obviously want to protect the innocent here. But, tell me the kind of the client's industry, tell me what you were able to do for them, and give me an idea of the time frame that you were able to get those results for them.
Yeah, so this one I really like because it's not in an industry that we typically do. It's actually a bit more B2C retail, but the approach that this gal wanted to take was pretty unique and we were actually able to help her. So first of all, this actually involves the when we help like entrepreneurs and coaches and trainers who again are typically either B2B or professional B2C. This particular person, she actually was or is a I don't know if it's called a franchisee, but it's like some type of relationship with a men's clothing company. So like you would
Okay.
think of a she wanted to do more of a professional B2C go after professionals no matter what industry they're in, but to just get them to dress better, to get them to look like professionals, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely not stuffy suit and tie stuff necessarily, but to just look sharp and look good. So so we helped her go from someone who didn't have a storefront or anything, just worked out of her house essentially and just went to other people through our help and through everything that we do, including like, content sharing and networking on LinkedIn and following up the way that we follow up and having those initial conversations without being salesy. She went from that to having a full retail location, which I think, and this may have changed, I don't know, but a lot of people in her company don't have locations like that. She was able to open up a full and I don't wanna say like Men's Warehouse because it's not Men's Warehouse, but that thinking of. She
Yeah.
went from her house to doing that within, I think, like, about a year or something like that. So
Whoa, whoa,
it
whoa.
was
So you
actually
helped somebody go from essentially garage startup to retail store.
Mhm.
You were able to coach her. So the
Yeah.
process is you coached, you probably edited a little bit of content,
No,
you
she did
helped
all
her
of her
through.
own content, actually. She's a very sharp gal, and, already had that bent for content to a certain extent, and,
Yeah.
we just helped her along the way.
No, so I just got my John Maxwell certification, and he talks about the i- he talks about the idea that everybody has to have that spark, right? Like you have to raise the
Right.
lid. But you have to have folks that coach you into that.
Mhm.
So I think there's some folks out there that are at that garage stage or maybe that like middle stage between garage and 10 or a million between garage and $1 million in revenue. And they're like, I can do this. And the answer is, yeah, you can do that. But all the pro athletes have a coach. I
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like it really became super clear to me as I was watching the Olympics, right? Every one of those performers, A, they're on a team, but B, they have 2 or 3 coaches, right? And those coaches are coaching them on specific pieces of that. They're still doing like Simone Biles, she's the one doing the flips. The coaches
Mhm.
aren't doing the flips. But the coaches make her flips work, right? So this lady you're talking about, yes, she was the genius, but you can either do I had one mentor that said you can work hard, you can work smart, or you can work right. And
Right.
so grabbing a coach, somebody that's been down that road, that's helped other folks, that has the knack for teaching, um, is really they help you do the flip right. Um,
Yep.
you'll get there. But if it may take you 2 years when you could have just learned it in 2 weeks.
Right. And actually that brings us to something else here. So I'm a lot of times you'll hear people go, I'm not that creative. I can't do video. What are you talking about? I can't write. I can't do this stuff. Well, now we have that wonderful, I think, thing called AI that can help you do all that stuff and do it in a much shorter amount of time than if you were to sit in front of a computer with a Word doc open or a Google Doc open, and you're like, "I have no idea what to do."
Yeah, so let's level it up here and let's talk about AI. All right. I I don't know anything about AI. Well, I actually am kind of an AI dork, but let's pretend that I don't know anything about AI.
Oh,
um,
yeah, big time, but yeah, we will talk about that as we go along.
yeah. Actually, before I go there, I want to ask this question, or I just want to highlight this statement maybe and hear your thoughts on it. AI, and it's super important. It's like maybe more important than the internet. It's super important. But AI is just one more step of technology in the chain, right?
Yes.
And you've gotten to live through a couple of those phases. I mean,
Yep.
I remember I was the first person to get a cell phone in my family, and they all told me I was stupid. They're like, "Why do you need a cell phone?"
Mhm.
Right? But I think that you maybe even had some more experience. So,
Yeah.
so walk me through, how do you identify the technology you should embrace? Because there's so many options. So when do you know, hey, I need to embrace this? And when do you think, well, I mean, it's okay?
That's a really good question. I think that embracing AI is very much already here just from the fact that it's already impacting the jobs market. So this is
Mm,
like a global view of it. I mean, a lot of times you can look at it from a micro, even self view of it, and I do think that that needs to happen as well. But just in terms of 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 the layoffs that you're hearing about, some of them are being influenced by AI because AI is taking over some of these people's positions. Now, it's not everyone. Not everyone who's being laid off, unfortunately, nowadays is because of AI, but AI is starting to have an influence there. So what people need to think about is, okay, what do I need to learn about AI so that I only don't get replaced, but I can show value to my employer so that they will want to keep me around.
yeah.
That's how I know
Um,
it's not a fad.
all right. So one of the tickers there is it's already affecting on a global scale, right? That's
Yes.
one of the major ones.
Yep.
Um, because I do want to needle in on this concept, because being a leader, whether you're a business owner or just a high level manager in your organization, being a leader is one of the critical skills is being able to tell what's signal and what's noise, right? So what's a fad and what's not a fad.
Right.
So give me another fad that you've seen come up through the sales and marketing world, that you were like, yep, this is important. Or maybe one where you're like, it seemed important, but it was nonsense. So, and I want to not focus on the AI because AI is the topic of the
Yeah,
day. And
no, that's fine.
I want to pull it back one more tech revolution so that we can get some ideas about, hindsight's 2020. Sorry. So give me a previous tech revolution where you were like, this is how I knew that was important.
Probably CRM.
Okay. So that's content. It's customer relationship management for
The
those that.
customer re yeah. Yeah, so basically, and companies use this a lot of different ways, which in and of itself, I think is a reason why that is such a success story. But, for salespeople, it's it's how you track leads, it's how you track lead stages, and where you can record things, about your prospects as you go through so that you're not having to do what you used to have to do, which is, you know, putting the person's phone number in a Rolodex and then having a separate paper file that that you couldn't necessarily take with you all the time. out and about with you. So if this person called and you're not in the office and you're like, "Oh, what was this about?" Nowadays, you can have all this stuff on your phone and ready to go. So just in terms of an information resource, I think that CRM has really come a long way in providing the information that salespeople need for that type of thing. Now you can use CRM for like customer relationship management in the pure sense, like after the sale and for customer service and things like that too. And you know, that's something that a lot of people probably didn't even think about when CRM first started. And I don't remember how CRM actually first started. So maybe it actually started out as more of a customer service thing and then moved to sales. I'm not really sure. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. I'm just looking at it now and just how things have progressed and everything that can now plug into CRM. I mean, and you said no AI, but AI can be plugged into CRM too. And
Oh
there's
yeah,
all
totally can. Yeah.
data that can be um, extracted and not manipulated, but, seeing trends and seeing, opportunities and things like that as well. It's just it's just mind-blowing what it can do nowadays compared to when it first came out, when it was a simple information tracker.
No, I love that. I'm gonna kind of pick some things out of the that you said that I follow myself is I assume that the basic work of customer relationship management, which used to be done manually,
Right.
was I
Very much
need
so.
their contact information. I need to call them. I need to know the last conversation I had with them.
Yep.
And previously, I either had to have that in my head or I had to
Yep.
look it up. And so
Yep.
then this technology floats by and it says, "Hey, you know all those manual tasks that you're doing that
Mhm.
requires you to do them? Yeah, we can automate that part. Like we can
Yep.
if not automate fully, we can like reduce the friction of it. It'll do it more automatically, or at least in the sense of just like a Rolodex, it's with you all the time. You said the Rolodex was on your desk, now it's in your cell phone.
Right.
Maybe pagers was in there at some point or a Palm Pilot, but um, so whenever I hear a new technology, I ask myself, what current step in the process does this new technology streamline for me? And if the answer
Yeah.
is none of them, like for instance,
Right.
Bitcoin, and I like Bitcoin for a number of reasons, but there's this like Bitcoin, the blockchain, we should blockchain everything. I'm like, what step in the process does it make more efficient? And anyway, so that's kind of a metric that I
That's a
follow.
really good way to look at it. I've never thought about that before. I mean, especially because there have been, like, all kinds of failures on the tech roadway that it's like, "Okay, but what does it really do?" And, I mean, like, the Apple glasses is probably whatever
Oh,
those things are called that I don't even remember, and I'm an Apple guy, and I don't remember it. So, I mean, it's like, this is something it's probably gonna happen someday, it just might have been too soon, which is sometimes also what happens with this tech stuff, but, you know, is there truly a lot of use for that when we've got so much stuff that we're used to already? Do we need that evolutionary or it's revolution versus evolution. That's revolution.
right.
Evolution, I think, works better, especially if you take the evolutionary steps towards a revolution.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think so when I as a leader am about to spend money in my business, which is going to affect my profit,
Mhm.
I only really look for evolutionary things. I let
Yeah.
other people do the revolutionary things, and I'd probably buy one myself, frankly. I mean, like I have a drone, I have a 3D printer, I'm
Oh, wow.
I'm on the bell curve of adoption. Like I'm not at the 1% line, but I'm like at the 3% line. Like
I
I
used to
want
be
to
like that. Yeah.
but when it comes to my business, I only do things that I know work and that reduce
Yeah.
friction, right?
Yep.
Okay. So with that metric in mind, I'm gonna take the lid off the AI bot. How do you embrace a new technology like AI and get it to work for you? Yeah.
So with AI, you have people out there who are circling it, and it's like, "Okay, I really think I wanna use this, but I don't know how." And probably the best way to just start learning how to use it before you even think about, "I needed to do this, this, and this. How do I do that?" And there are ways through prompting that you can get that. Just start talking to ChatGPT. Ask it what it can do for you. Say, "I have a project. I need help with it. help me out. It will start asking questions, and maybe they're not the greatest questions because it all does depend on the prompt and how the prompt is, written and things like that, and that's why there are prompt engineers now who can help with that and really trim the number of prompts that someone might be able or that someone can put in to get really great results from it. But just in terms of, just start talking to it. Start asking it questions. It will help to use it. One of my favorite things to do, because in ChatGPT there's something called custom GPTs, and
Oh my
these
goodness.
are almost like little mini programs. Although they're just like, a lot of times it's just like prompts that are pre-done more than anything else. But for podcasting, for example, there are specific custom GPTs that can help you with podcasts. So one of the and I don't remember the exact prompt that I used, but it's something along the lines of, whenever I download a custom or whenever I access a custom GPT, and before I bookmark it for later use, I will always do a prompt, something like this: "Help me help you. What How can I use you?" And then put the name of the custom GPT in there, just so that it knows that I'm addressing it, "to your highest and best use." That's it. At that point, it will give you things to think about, or questions that it might ask you, or whatever, and it varies every single time too. I mean, you're not gonna get standard responses from these things, but, just
So
ask it to help you.
yeah, so man, this all right. I kind of said this earlier in the show. I said that, and I'm actually going to double down on my statement. I think AI may be more important than fire. Like it's at least on a peer with fire. And people are
Yeah.
like, okay, you're just jumping on the bandwagon. No, no, no. Let me explain why. AI is the first time that technology allows me to interact with technology the way that
Yes.
I interact with an employee.
Yes.
And the problem with employees is that we're wetware, right? Like I can tell you what I want you to do. Even if I train you multiple times, you'll forget pieces. That's why we invented checklists, right? Is
Mhm.
because we know that as humans, we're very good at creativity, but we're not very good at repetitive things. Like we
Right.
forget, even if we're experts. In fact, there's some really good literature that says the more of an expert you are at something, the more you need a checklist because you have this like confidence bias, like it's
Yeah.
inappropriate confidence in your skills.
Yeah.
Um,
Couldn't agree more with that.
Right, and this happens with doctors, and, there's a great book called The Checklist Manifesto. It talks about the doctors were be delicate here. People were dying because doctors weren't thinking of all of the things. Now, the human
Yeah.
body, we let them off the hook. The human body is extremely
Right.
complicated,
Yeah.
but they brought in checklists, and the death rates and the malpractice problems dropped because of checklists, right? Okay, AI allows me to clone instead of going to 8 years of medical school and then I have to train another person for 8 years of medical school, and each one of them has all these, like, weird glitches, and are they really great doctors? I don't know. Once you get an AI model that's mature, you can clone it. You can have 20 of them for the
Yeah.
same price, essentially, as turning on your lights.
Right.
Like, so there was a law firm in Los Angeles, and they spent $17,000 in hardware and extra electricity, and they did the work of like 6 paralegals for $17,000. Like,
Mhm.
you can
Yeah.
clone employees? Like, this is before cloning employees, it was, I can hire a VA, a virtual assistant, right? I can
Yeah.
hire somebody from India to do some basic tasks for me. I can go to Fiverr, I can get some basic tasks done. But each one of these transactions was $100, $500, which is way cheaper than an employee, but it was still expensive and there was time. And now in 30 seconds, I can have and then there's like you're training the model as you go. All right. I feel like I'm on a soapbox. I'm going to stop talking. But the
That's
reason
okay.
it's so important is because when you get those models trained correctly, you can literally have an army of employees that do the whole workflow for you in an intelligent way. All right. I'm out. I'm stopping down. Let me talk to you about
Get
how do you use AI and help your clients and what are you excited about with AI?
So right now we're using it more for content than anything else. Um one of the things that we quickly discovered, which I kind of saw anyhow, but now we have proof of it, is that a lot of people aren't into writing prompts. Guess what? That's fine. A lot of people don't have time to write prompts or figure out, oh God, I did this prompt, but it's not giving me what I want. How do I adjust this? Or do I just start a new conversation and or a new chat and try that way? Uh, I don't have time to do this. So one of the things that we're going to be launching, and I can't get into a lot of detail about it right now, partially because it's still in development. But we are going to have a custom tool that will take a lot of that type of thing out of out of people's hands, so that when they go into this tool that we're going to be developing, um, that it's going to allow not a custom GPT.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. This is an entire platform that we're launching that is going to so again so we're gonna get another music flourish here.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
That's
Well,
okay. No,
you finished,
it's okay.
you finished talking about it. I'll write up the
Yeah,
banner and then
no,
we'll do
that's
another
fine.
story.
So this is gonna be like fill in the blank type of stuff to where, you'll have, like, questions and you'll be able to develop avatars of yourself or like of your audience or the audience that you're trying to attract, audience of prospects that you're trying to attract, so that you can develop certain campaigns and certain messaging and all that type of stuff specifically to avatars, and then do this fill in the blank wise, and then it will generate for you based on basically prompts that we already have in there, but nobody needs to worry about this. But because you're training an avatar on either yourself and how you talk and how you speak and your audience or just the audience, or, and there are several permutations of that too. But when it comes to generating the content, it will take all of that prompt writing headache out of people's hands, and then just create the content itself, whether it's a video script, whether it's a LinkedIn post, whether it's an entire campaign, all centered around, and it's also all centered around social selling and how we train to do LinkedIn and social selling, again, with that, with everything that I've already talked about. So, it's not quite an easy button, but it gets close to it. And that's one of the big things that we've been concentrating on, so that it goes beyond just a custom GPT, because custom GPTs can be great, but you still have to know how to prompt
Yeah.
even with the custom GPT to really get the most out of it. We want to take as much of that as possible out of the hands of very busy salespeople who don't have the time for this stuff. And we're going to be doing this both for our individual memberships, as well as developing this on the corporate side, and having customized corporate instances for companies who have larger sales teams and things like that.
I'm super excited about that. So I was doing a little bit of digital work here in the background.
Sure.
Um, are you also, I've always thought this is the right thing to do, is to create a custom avatar of your ideal client and feed them everywhere that they go. So like if you have let's say you're doing Lululemon or something like that. So you have this 30, maybe 25-year-old to 45-year-old woman who is into yoga, who is loves going on the beach, who lives in Florida. I'm just kind of making up whatever. Her name is
Yeah.
Sally. So you can train a bot in everything that you know about your ideal client, and then you
Mhm.
can talk to that bot. It's not true market research, but it's darn close, right?
It's yeah, it's close. Yeah, it's real close, and that is the type of thing that you'll be able to do with this, except, we, the platform will help you along the way, so that you're not writing that, really complex, prompt, or you're using a very good custom GPT, but you still need to know how to prompt to get the most out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so it's kind of It's like customized, individualized, done for you, right?
Kinda like that, yeah.
It's done for you, but it's also custom. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna throw the music back up here. Um, uh, can you kind of re-summarize that in just a couple of sentences for me?
Yeah, so just launching a platform to help salespeople utilize AI, um, very, very well without really knowing they don't need to know how to prompt to use this. It should be a much easier process for them to get the type of content that they want to get out, the type of content that their people will want to consume rather than the type of content that they want to talk about, which we talked about earlier. And like I said before, it's not quite that proverbial easy button, but it gets really, really close to it, and salespeople especially should not feel like that they need to shy away from AI anymore because they think it takes too much time. And learning how to prompt is too much of a burden for them. And I mean that sincerely too, because everybody's busy and to get
Oh,
another skill is, it's not
yeah.
easy to do, especially in today's world.
No, and this is what I'm super excited for. So if you're watching this right now, um, Bob and his team are putting together a new platform that takes all of the energy, all the headache and confusion around using AI out and allows you just to interact like you normally would with your sales team or with your marketing team, creating custom avatars, creating custom scripts, no prompt engineering. It's all curated. It does it for you. I'm super excited. Give me a link, Bob, when that is officially launched, and we will have like a little
Yeah,
micro
I will
show.
I will absolutely do that. We are very much under the hood. If you're talking about a gas engine with with their hands dirty with grease and oil and everything else and getting stuff ready, hopefully it'll be ready in about a month or so.
Ooh.
Some I can't I don't hold me to that, but, we are definitely hard at work on it.
All right. Well, that's it. So I think that's your last bonus here. If you want more bonus from the wealth of knowledge and experience that Bob and his team has, reach out to Bob. I'm going to throw your link up here. I think this is Bob Woods at socialsaleslink.com. Bob
Bob
Woods at,
dot Woods, Bob
oh,
dot Woods, just in case this ever gets over to audio, Bob dot Woods at socialsaleslink.com.
awesome. And then another great way to reach out to Bob Woods is LinkedIn. So just type in LinkedIn/n/Bob Woods, N as in IN, Bob Woods. He's easy to find. He shows up pretty quick. So yeah, if you are a starting out like a garage entrepreneur, just solopreneur, you're saying, hey, I sell a high trust product. Maybe you're Edward Jones or something like that. I sell a high trust product and I need a better way to help people. Then get with Bob. He's going to teach you how to stop talking about helping people and start just helping people. Build that
Mhm.
trust in a real way. And then he's got your solution for AI and how to use it to supercharge your organization. With that, do you have any other closeout comments you want to throw in there, Bob?
No, I mean, we have covered a lot of stuff, and it's been fantastic. I really appreciate the opportunity to to talk with you and talk with your audience, and, I've been on a lot of podcasts. I do my own podcast as well, and, this has been a great experience. I'm kinda thinking a little bit about going the Q101 morning zoo route in terms of maybe incorporating some of this stuff because all of that is very, very good, very, very inventive. It goes way beyond what a lot of other people do too. So this has been a great podcast. This
Well,
has been a
thanks.
great
I will riff off that. If you would like to be on the Drew Sutton Show, give me a call. I have a spot just for you. We'll get you scheduled. I have some onboarding videos that'll help you feel comfortable in your first show. If it's your first, of course, Bob is an expert here, and that's why you need to hire him. But with that, we are gonna close out. Everyone say see you later to Bob.
Oh,
And
wait, are we gonna do the offer?
oh yeah, what do you, I don't have the offer and the banner. Yeah, what? All right, over to you, Bob.
Over to
All right.
me. So
Just so that you can use this in a reel later, we're going to take 3 seconds, then I'm going to turn it over to you, and then you're going to give the offer. Okay. Well, that's all we have with Bob. Bob, if you want to connect with Bob because you know that LinkedIn and AI is the key to your next level in sales, you need to get with Bob and his team. Bob, how can they do that?
yeah, so you can get in touch with me via email at bob.woods@socialsaleslink.com. That is the email. You can also reach out to follow and or connect with me on LinkedIn, and that's at linkedin.com/in/Bob Woods. I do ask that if you connect with me, that you just mention this show in your connection request. You can send a note along with your connection request, which is something that you should be doing anyhow. That's one of the many, many things that we teach. But definitely send a note to me when you ask to connect and just mention this show. I would certainly appreciate that because I'm a little selective in terms of who I connect with. And if you heard me on here, it's an auto connect. There is no there's nothing there that I wouldn't connect with. So, and then also have a special offer that you can get 30 minutes on my calendar because I do not talk about helping people. I just help people. So with that, you can go to socialsaleslink.com/Drew Sutton. socialsaleslink.com/Drew Sutton. Now that's going to, just in case you get a weird type of security thing on your browser, that does redirect you, but it only redirects you to my Calendly link because you can't really do a short Calendly link, and we have a way to shorten links
Awesome.
ourselves. So trust the link if you do get that, and then my calendar's there. Just sign up.
Well, that is the Go Giver Gong. Bob is definitely a go giver. He helps folks. He doesn't just talk about it, he actually helps folks. So schedule 30 minutes with him and tell him I sent you. With that, we are going to close out the show. Thanks again, Bob. Look forward to having you back.